Hey guys, this is Blake with Dominion Strength Training, and this video is part of our FAQ, our Frequently Asked Questions series. And today I'm going to be answering the question, what's the difference between a single ply and a double ply? So for example, I've got a single ply starting strength belt here, and I've got a double ply starting strength belt. For the more obvious part of the question, a single ply is made of a single strap of a very special type of leather. Let's talk about that for a second. The single ply starts off its life as this right here. This is a plain strap of top grain veg tan sole bend leather. This is essentially, as far as leather goes, the toughest stuff you can get. And we want to use that for a single ply where all we have is a single strip of the leather to make up our strength. Cutting in here for a second to explain a couple of the terms, just use the first top grain. Top grain is the middle section of the hide. The outermost is the full grain. The innermost is the corium or split grain. Full grain leather, while very strong, is also very expensive. For the purposes of a weightlifting belt, often prohibitively so. That gives us the next layer down the top grain as being our sweet spot. It has the same tight grain structure as the full grain, giving us all the strength we need, but without so much of the cost. The bottom layer, the split or the corium, this is where suede and other things like genuine leather or full leather, all leather, those kind of terms come from. There are legitimate purposes for it, but they are not structural. This type of leather is not something you want to see in a weightlifting belt, at least not for the structure. Second term is veg tanning. Veg tanning is the old school process of tanning leather. It takes months. It uses natural tannins, so no harsh chemicals or anything like that. And even though there are more modern methods that take a lot less time, this is still the preferred method for creating leather that needs both strength and longevity. The last term is sole bend. That's two words. The first, sole, meaning a tanning and finishing process to produce sole leather. The word sole is as in shoe sole because that is the application this was traditionally used for. It's very tough stuff. The word bend simply refers to the cut of the hide. It's a section of the hide running along the backbone of the animal, stopping short of the neck or butt ends, and it's cut this way typically because it gives you a nice panel of leather that will lay flat. Now with all that, back to the video. The double ply also has this strap of sole bend leather. It's on the inside, or the bottom side. The top side is a piece of leather that's slightly different. It's made out of this, something called skirting leather. This is also a top grain veg tan strap. So, whereas the single ply has this one strip, the double ply puts these two strips together, okay? So we've got two straps. Now you can see if I were to just put these together and glue them, this would be way too thick. And we need to end up with a belt for the starting strength anyway that's 10 millimeters thick. So what we'll do is we'll actually thin both of these straps to where we come up with an overall thickness that's 10 millimeter. As far as the thickness on the single ply, these are going to be as thick as the leather comes. It's usually around 6.5, 7 millimeter. It can vary a little bit, but that's the thickness difference. You're looking at somewhere around 6.5 millimeter on the single ply versus 10 millimeter on the double ply. The single ply can be for people who want a more minimalist belt, the absolute minimum tool that can get the job done. It's also probably the most comfortable of the belts, being a little bit thinner if you ever have problems with a belt, digging into your ribs or your sides. This is going to do the least amount of that of any of our belts because it's thinner than any of our other belts. The double ply, on the other hand, is when you want absolute maximum support. So this is going to be the strongest belt because it's thicker. And of course, there are also obvious aesthetic differences. This is two pieces of leather that both look a bit different once you add oil to them. And of course, it's got the nice stitching on there. So it's going to look very different. These belts are also double ply, but unlike the starting strength belt, it has a layer of suede on the inside. So the way this belt is constructed is, if you imagine you took a starting strength double ply and this inside layer, you thinned it just enough to accommodate a layer of suede. That is how the Dominion double ply is constructed. And it's the same for all of our Dominion style double ply belts, our lever belts, our water buffalo belts, all with the same construction: skirting outer, sole bend middle, and suede on the inside. Why would you want suede on the inside? Well, suede is a little bit grippier to clothing. So for people that like the belt to feel secure against them, not trying to slide around or anything like that, the suede is a nice way to do that. It's very, very grippy. Some people like that it makes the belt slightly more flexible. The overall thickness of the structural leather on this belt is thinner by about 1.5 millimeters, because that's about the thickness of the suede. You wouldn't think that would make that much difference, but it really does. And if you feel these two belts, you can feel the difference in stiffness between like a starting strength double ply and the Dominion double ply. So this is one of our belts. We'll call this a double suede belt. Is this a single ply? Is it a double ply? Or is it something altogether different? The double suede belt is actually a single ply belt with suede on both sides. If I were to take my original strap of sole bend leather and I were to put a layer of suede on the top and a layer of suede on the bottom, I would have a double suede belt. That's how they're constructed. It's a single ply belt with suede on both sides. Suede is not a structural material. It's stretchy. It does not contribute to the stiffness of the belt, which is the quality we want when it's wrapped around our waist. What it does do is it protects the leather. It effectively seals in the oil content. So this is not a belt that you ever have to add oil to or really do any kind of maintenance like that. Suede is fairly easy to clean. We have a simple suede cleaning kit that you can do that with. And some people just like the aesthetics of it. And that's completely legitimate. If you're spending money on this belt, you should have a belt that you like the look of, no question. And stiffness people will often refer to as like a broken in feeling. How flexible does the belt feel? In terms of absolute support, a belt constructed like our starting strength double ply, where the full 10 millimeters of thickness is made up of veg tan top grain leather, is going to be the most supportive. It's also going to be the stiffest. Our Dominion style double ply, where we've thinned that middle layer just enough to add suede, it's still extremely supportive. You would frankly never notice the difference between this and the starting strength double ply once you've got them on, but it will feel slightly more broken in out of the box because of that layer of suede. Next would be the double suede belt. It's very similar to a single ply in terms of stiffness, but adding the suede and the stitching, it does add something in terms of stiffness. Not a lot, but a little bit. But it's got the exact same support as a single ply because it uses the exact same piece of leather. So I hope you found this helpful. If you did, would you please like the video? That will help other people find it. If you have someone that could use the information in this video, if you'd share it with them, we'd really appreciate that. If there was any question that you felt I didn't answer completely here, you'd like more information about, put that in the comments and I will read every one of those. I'll respond to every one of those. You can get your question answered there. So that's all for this video. Thanks. We'll see you next time.